welcome to the tour. I'm Todd. I'm the owner of Schulte Design Build. My co-host today is Tanya. She's here to help me facilitate this, to help manage the chat box. But I'm going to go ahead and just walk you through this project and just share the story of it and some of the things that we did to make it as green and sustainable as possible. So here we go. So just kind of some of the things that we did with this project that we did material conservation. You know, we chose materials that we either reuse stuff or found stuff that minimized the impact of its use, energy efficiency. So, you know, products that are more energy efficient take less power to use. Same with water, you know, with plumbing fixtures. Of course, the products that we used help with indoor air quality. And a lot of the stuff that we used are locally sourced just to help with the carbon footprint of actually getting the materials here on site. So just an overview of this project. Basically, this was a phase two of a two-phase project. This, our clients really do a lot of entertaining, and they've got a family, and their kitchen was really tiny and cramped, and they really wanted more space to really be able to enjoy those activities better. The other issues that they had with the house was the flow to the back part of the house. You actually had the pathway to the back part of the house. You actually had to go through the living room and the library to get to the back bedrooms and the upstairs bedrooms, which just wasn't very, you know, just didn't work very well. So part of when we were able to expand the dining room, we were able to move the kitchen over to actually create a hallway, which just really made the flow through the house much better. And the other thing that we did is there was, their bedroom was in the back of the house. They had an adjoining bedroom that was being used as more of a craft area. So they decided they wanted a bigger bedroom for themselves. So we turned the 2 bedrooms into one big suite, which created a nice dressing area, sitting area with plenty of closet space. And we were able to eliminate the old closet that you had to walk through to get to the bathroom, and we incorporated that into the bathroom to make the space bigger. So they could have dual sinks and just a bigger space to, you know, made it a little nicer to be in their bathroom. Some of the things we did around sustainability, the cabinets were sourced from a local company. So again, they didn't have to travel far, less carbon footprint. You know, used products in the cabinets such as formaldehyde-free, less chemicals. This particular cabinet shop, you know, they maximize the use of all their materials, so there's less waste, less product needed to build them. Quartz countertops, again, those reduce the impact on natural resources, right? When we're cutting real stone out of the earth. And of course, they've got a long, durable life cycle, which is great, which means they don't have to replace quite as often. Bamboo flooring. I'm sorry, honey. What were you?
Oh, they're so beautiful. Yeah, just looking forward.
Yeah, I should be telling you all this while I'm showing you.
Yeah.
Let me actually do that. So bamboo flooring, it was existing flooring that we added to. LED lighting, which is less energy, longer life cycle. And again, you know, some of the energy efficiencies of all these new products just for you know, using less energy to run them. Paint is low VOC, so less impact on the air quality in terms of off-gassing. Same with wool carpet. So let's just do an actual walkthrough of the space to give you a sense of what it's like to actually be in the space. And as you can see right away, the bamboo floors really stand out. So as you can see here, there's this new, what we created, this new dining space. So this was actually a covered deck area that we then took this wall out and put a big, huge beam in here to support everything above, to really incorporate this whole space. As you can see, it's just a really well lit space, lots of natural light. They've got lots of room for friends and family to hang out and enjoy themselves. They've got 2 sinks, which is really nice, so that, you know, multiple people can be in the space at one time without being cramped or crowded. Other nice things, you got a nice pot filler, so they don't have to, you know, they can just fill up their pot right there. They don't have to, you know, carry it across the space. Other nice things are, you know, getting the microwave up off the counter to give them more counter space. You know, that's a nice, easy way to gain more space on your counter by just finding another spot for it, right? So, and then let me back up a little bit. You can see here, this is the hallway. So the entry is over here to the right. So we used to have to go through this room to get to the back of the house. Now you go down this hallway that we created to get to the back of the house, which is down here at the other end. Let me see if I can back up and get you a better view of that, maybe. So sorry, navigating my way through here. So you can see this then goes down to the end of here and goes around the corner to the back of the house, versus before you'd have to go through both those rooms to get to the back of the house. You can see we put a nice big pantry closet in at the kind of over here behind kind of hidden in from the main part of the kitchen, which is nice. This is going to actually take us to the master bathroom that we did. So you can see here we've got dual sinks. The shower was actually redone in a previous remodel, so it was fairly new, and they didn't want to lose it. So we left that and actually remodeled around it and saved it. This tub was that classic tub of deck-mounted tub, which with a jetted tub in it that nobody ever uses. So we took that
Those
up.
Those things are huge. I mean, yeah. They must have gotten so much space.
Yeah, a lot more space. You can see we've got a dual flush toilet, which is nice. And we've got a little extra storage here in this cabinet in the corner. So just a really, you know, give them a lot more space to, I don't know what happened there, to use it.
Can you show us in the full view so they can really get in there and see?
Yeah,
and this is a 2-story house, right? So Matterport doesn't always show the picture of that top level. So that beam work was definitely big work.
Oh yeah, to take this wall out and support the second floor while we surgically put this beam in was no small feat. It was quite the accomplishment to get that up.
Well, you can see why they're so happy. I mean, that's a lot easier can't even imagine the wall there. And
oh yeah, this just made such a huge difference. I mean, they just love this space, you know, to give them plenty of room to, you know, cook and entertain. And then the other nice thing is you can see the grill through the door here. You know, it really is connected the space to the outdoor. So it really gave them, you know, much more flexible space to be, you know, both indoor and outdoor pretty easily, pretty seamlessly, actually. You know, they open these doors quite a bit, mostly in the summertime, I will say, but it just really kind of brings the outdoors into the space too, which is great.
And you said the customers, these clients, they were actually trying to decide if they should sell their home and move,
yes,
or stay, right? Obviously, you know, it's clear they're really happy they stayed and
right.
invested in their home.
Right.
It's definitely one of those things where I'm sure a lot of clients are looking at, should I fix what I have? Should I move? And then it really comes down
absolutely. It's the should I stay or should I go? And they just, you know, with the market the way it is, and you know, they love the house, they love the area, they love the neighborhood, they've been there forever. So yeah, they made the decision that this just made sense for them versus moving. So
it's really beautiful. Do you see a lot of people asking for the dual sinks like that? It's so smart.
People usually we get that request. First of all, you've got to have the space. I mean, that's a pretty big island. You got to have the space to do it in the kitchen, which in this case you do. And really it's folks that are huge, that love to cook. Those are usually the folks that want the, you know, a lot of functionality with their kitchen. So yes, we do see that.
And are those lights all LED? Tell us about
so they're LED bulbs in the recessed lights, and then the under cabinet lights are all LED strip fixtures. So yeah, we use LED pretty much everywhere we can anymore, and part of that's to meet today's energy code too. It's actually a requirement. So. It's a code requirement.
So when you're designing in your process, do you have to already think about all the energy codes and all those different standards?
Absolutely. When we have to meet those today's standards, and actually they're changing. They were supposed to change this year, but because of course the pandemic, they've pushed it till February of next year. They're actually going to get even more stringent starting next year in February. So yes, energy efficiency is a big topic. For sure, it's something that.
Todd, we have a question here from Maggie around insulation, and
yes.
It says VAC, but I wonder if she meant HVAC. I'm not sure.
Oh, HVAC, yeah. So you know, as we, you know, anytime that we are renovating a home, we open up any of the structure, we are always bringing anything that we're touching up to today's standards, right? So. Today's standards in an exterior wall is R21, and we can achieve that with your standard fiberglass bat insulations, or excuse me, fiberglass bats for insulation, which is what we typically use. Actually, we do a variety of things, but with a project of this size and scale, we simply insulated the walls up to today's code with, again, fiberglass bats. What I will say about fiberglass bats is they come without formaldehyde and a lot of the chemicals that you would used to see in insulation. Again, that's just kind of a standard anymore for insulation, which is great. So we didn't use any quote unquote alternative insulation materials for this project just because of the scale of it. It just didn't make sense. Because we only really insulated these 3 exterior walls that you see here, and the ceiling that over that dining room space. So there wasn't much that we had to do in terms of insulation. In terms of HVAC, they had the traditional old furnace that wasn't very energy efficient, that just forced air. They wanted to keep that because the infrastructure was all there in terms of duct work and stuff in the house. But what we did do is we replaced it with a more energy efficient, a 90% furnace, which of course helps with energy. We also, as part of that replacement, we added some additional filtration to help with the air quality as well, just with better filters that are, capture more dirt and dust and all that stuff and pollen in the air. So it just helps with the air quality. So I hope that answers your question. Any other questions from anybody?
We'd love to hear what you're looking for and anything in particular we can show you or questions that we can answer. I'm sure these clients are really glad they have that new HVAC now.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, actually, it's funny that you say that because we got an email from them yesterday saying just that.
Oh, really? Yeah. Do you get a lot of inquiries about that? I really think that it's definitely one of those invisible big investments, much like that big giant beam there, but it's one of those things
definitely air quality and just the heating and cooling systems in general are something that's important to our clients these days, and it just really depends on what the project is, and are they interested in replacing their old system, or is the project conducive to replacing the whole system, such as if we're adding a second story to a house and it doesn't have a system, well, we've got to put a system there. So does it make sense to, add a new one, or, tie into the old one and update it? So it really just depends. But yes, definitely it's a big topic for a lot of folks today.
Yeah, for sure.
What other eco-friendly things that you guys have?
So I'll speak to that a little bit. So what I love about this is a great example of how far we've come in terms of sustainability, being conscientious about how we're impacting our environment, both our built and the environment we live in, as well as the earth. So this is a great example of kind of what how standardized some of these things have become. It's not something you have to necessarily ask for or seek out as you used to in the past. So some examples of that would be the cabinetry. So this cabinetry was sourced locally, so it doesn't have to get on a truck and go quite as far as it maybe across country from another cabinet shop. So obviously less impact on carbon footprint, impact on, just having to put it, travel farther to get to us. Most materials that are used for making cabinets now have less chemicals in them, less formaldehyde, those kinds of things, so less off-gassing, both for when you're living and just producing and making these materials. In the cabinet shops themselves, they're being more efficient with the materials. They're maximizing the use of all the materials, so they need to use less of it to build these things. So just a kind of small example of that. Quartz countertops are very popular now. So with the quartz, you're taking less resources out of the earth versus a whole slab of granite as an example. They're more durable, they're going to last longer, so they're not being replaced quite as often. Of course, on top of that, they're more stain resistant, heat resistant, so there's a lot of other benefits to quartz versus natural stone. The flooring is bamboo. We just added to it, as you saw in that before photo. That bamboo flooring was there, we just simply added to it. And of course, bamboo is more sustainable versus wood, as an example, because it grows fast and it's easy to it's less impact on the environment in terms of harvesting and those kind of things.
How's the water resistance on the bamboo?
Well, it's just the same as most any other kind of wood flooring. It's really more the finish than the product itself in terms of water. Anything that's gonna, any water that sits on anything like that over time is, not good, but it's pretty durable. So it's not been an issue for us.
Square footage for the bamboo, like the cost for the bamboo than the actual?
It varies on the material. So, that's probably, you could probably, I don't know what this particular square footage was. A great resource would go to Green Home Solutions. They're a local, if you go to their website, they probably have a lot better insight in terms of the different price points for these different material. We can certainly direct you to that if that was something you're interested in, but it's all comparable to wood in terms of cost. So there's not a huge up cost in using bamboo. They're all fairly in the same price range anymore. And this particular material was actually solid bamboo that actually was nailed in place. It's like tongue and groove, like a traditional wood floor, versus a lot of engineered products that are out there now where they have a substrate and they float. So, but that's because that was what was already installed and we matched it. So,
I mean, you guys did a good job. I saw the old picture has the wood floor. I was wondering, is it the same or?
It is. Yep. It is the same. It's the same floor, and we added on. So some of the other features, of course, are plumbing fixtures are more low flow, so they use less water. You saw the example in the bathroom of the dual flush toilet. So again, saving on conserving water, using less resources. Appliances, they're a little more energy efficient, so they take less energy to run. The lights are all LED bulbs. The under cabinet lights are LED strip fixtures, so they last longer, take less energy to run, which is nice. Low VOC paint is standard anymore. I can't remember the last time we used an oil-based paint. The paint alone has come a long way over the years in terms of durability, which is nice.
I remember actually I bought some low VOC paints there's a shop in very close by Soto, but right now I see they're closed down. I don't know if you know where they went.
Is that the green building products?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. That's a great question. I know there's another one up on Nickerson, kind of in the Magnolia, Inner Bay, Ballard area.
Okay.
And they're actually still open. They're actually one of the sponsors of this tour today. Green Home Solution. I don't know what happened to that other store. I didn't know they were shut down.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I've been coming to this event for like 4 to 5 years.
And you have?
Yeah, I really love to talk to you guys and how you guys did a remodel thing. And yeah. And how like, may I ask, like, what's the estimate cost for, like, open up the dining area and matching? I think matching could be expensive, right? Because the material that in the past and now the costs are different.
Yeah, so again, back to that example of the flooring that we matched. Again, it's all comparable in terms of price for a different material. So again, I don't think there's really an upcharge for that. And in terms of pricing for a project like this, what we do is so unique. It's very similar types of, it's a kitchen. We do a lot of kitchen remodels, but every kitchen's unique. So they all cost a little different. That cost is going to vary on, the scope, what we're doing, the materials we're using. So it really varies. So it's really hard to know what your kitchen remodel would cost versus what this kitchen remodel costs, right?
Yeah.
And people ask, well, what's the square footage price? Well, I can't put a square footage price on it because it's so unique and it's custom. Every project's custom. So it's really hard to tell you what your project's going to cost versus this project, right? So
definitely. The island by itself without a sink definitely way cheaper than you add a sink on it.
Well, sure.
Right? Then you have a water pipe and everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And those are the things that when we're working with our clients in design phase, those are all the things that we discuss, right? And how one thing can affect 20 things, especially budget. Like, obviously putting a sink in your island is going to cost more than just an island, right? And then does that fit your budget and does it solve your problem? And are you willing to, is it worth it? Where's the value in it for you if it's going to solve your problem and create this amazing space you have, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, any other questions, Joyce?
No, I think I'm good.
Awesome. Have you visited any other homes on the tour yet?
I did. I think this is the 4th one I went.
Great.
How are we doing?
I think you guys are doing great. Yeah.
Phew. We've never done it this way before.
Really? No,
No.
I would love to, like you said, like go to the house and you really touch and walk around and I see a little more details. This is something new and it's awesome. But you guys, thank you for you guys like taking the time for the weekend to do this.
Oh,
you guys,
absolutely.
Yeah. But I know
thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd be sitting here twiddling our thumbs. So
right.
we appreciate it.
And I love all your great questions. I really appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. Thank you. We're learning. We're all learning. Yeah.
Right.
We're going to pivot. We're going to figure this out.
Yep.
So yeah, this is the space. So this is just a great example of the things you can do in a remodel that just are less impactful on the environment, more healthy for the folks that are in the house. And quite frankly, most of these items that I just went through are not anything out of the ordinary anymore. A lot of this stuff's all just standard. The industry has come so far in the last 20 years where, cabinet shops that's their standard practice anymore. And those materials are there and available, right? We've adapted and adopted to be more conscientious about our impact on ourselves and the environment around us that we build. So it's pretty cool to be a part of it. And you know, these clients didn't necessarily ask for these specific things. I think, quite frankly, I think they're kind of expected. So this is that outside space. That was the covered deck that we incorporated into the dining room.
Hey, Ty, could you hit that big screen on the bottom right corner there just to make this a bigger picture?
I don't see it. I'm sorry. This?
Right there. Yeah. There you go.
So this is the outside view of the space that we turned into the dining room. That's that exterior wall with that covered deck. This is what it looks like afterwards from outside. You've seen that. This is what the kitchen looked like before. That was the old outside wall over here where the curtains are. That's where that beam is now. And you can see, you can't really tell here, you have these weird drop things around the ceiling, and there's this little, it stepped back right here. So we actually we captured some more space outside the deck that way as well to make this wall. This is where this is now where the refrigerator is. It's like right here.
You can really see too how the storage now, where everything is put away and has its place, where before she had all kinds of things.
Well, there you go. That's the shot right there. You see the before, and that's what it looks like now. And that's that tub before, and that's after. That's the van. Oh, they had dual vanities before. They were just scrunched up ones against one another. And there's the after. So it really gives you a good sense of what the transformation was.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Todd, maybe we'll just slide that link in your PowerPoint. That might help. Naomi, thank you so much. We haven't had to do this before this way. So we're learning, and we're really committed to pivoting and making this work for people.
So when you open up the dining area, like, since there's no second floor, right?
There is a second floor, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, great question.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll show you what we had to do to support that second floor.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see this area here. This is the beam that goes across.
Yep.
This is just a little section. That beam actually goes up about another 18 inches up into the floor system, the structure of the house, to support that second floor. So when we took this wall out, this was probably one of the biggest challenges of this, is we had to take this wall out. So we had to temporarily support the second floor and the roof above it while we took this wall out and put this big beam in, surgically put this beam in, right?
Yeah.
It's not like we could just lift it up into place. So it was a to-do for sure. So that was one of the biggest challenges, was to get rid of that wall and put that beam in. So.
But you did amazingly. That, you know, if you didn't point out, I mean, it's like, it's just,
you wouldn't even know, right?
No one would even know. Really
right. Well, that tells me we did a great job.
Yeah, surely did. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It makes it hard to tell this story, though.
Right.
That's why I have to get into the details.
Right.
Yeah, right. No, I'm glad you asked your question.
Thank you.
So obviously, you know, much more light-filled space, you know, adding these windows and these doors just brings a lot more natural light in, a lot more space, of course, and it just ties together really well. And as you can see, you know, these people love to entertain, and they want to have multiple people in the kitchen at the same time. That's why they have the two sinks, right? Mm-hmm. And the pot filler is a nice convenience, so you don't have to bring a pot of water from the sink over to the stove.
Yeah, they are using a very nice stove over there.
yeah,
Sure.
The Wolf is really nice. Yeah, they went with a bigger stove than what they used to have too. It was a little typical 4-burner stove. This is a 6-burner. So, and then the nice thing here is the microwave's up off the countertop, so you have more counter space, right?
Oh.
So, and then in terms of,
oh, sorry,
what was that, Joyce? I'm sorry.
I want to ask about the above the stove, the fan. Is it a standard length that you need to install that cannot be too far above or too low?
Great. Yeah. So this is an interesting one. Welcome, Chris. There are standard distances that the manufacturers recommend you set your hood at.
Okay.
Usually they're pretty low,
Mm.
which most people don't like because they don't want the hood right in their face when they're cooking.
True.
So what we do is we tell our clients, here's what the manufacturer recommends and why, because they don't want to be responsible if it doesn't suck, if it sucks at sucking,
Yep.
right? They don't want to get the call saying, hey, your product doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they have that there. That's why they have that recommendation. Now, with that said, we tell folks, that's what the recommendation is, but we can put it higher. It's just not going to be as efficient as it would be lower because, of course, it's further away from your cooking space.
Mm.
But in all the years I've been doing this, there's maybe a handful of times where we've put them at the recommended heights.
Mm.
But most people don't want them there, so we just educate our clients, and then they can make that choice. And we've never had anybody complain about it not working. So
yeah. So I was like wondering, is like because if you put it a little higher, would it like against the fire code from the
there's no fire code issue around this. The building code is you have to have an exhaust fan over your cooking source. So that's the requirement. They don't tell you it has to meet certain. And then in terms of CFM and how much it sucks, is really dictated by the appliance itself. Right. So if you've got a bigger appliance that's burning more BTUs or more gas, you're going to want something that has more CFM that can handle that volume of exhaust that's being created from the stove. That's really what drives the size and the CFM of a range hood. It's not a fire code issue or anything like that. It's more of what the appliance that you're using is what it needs to effectively exhaust that air, essentially, right?
Do you like to cook, Joyce?
My mom does.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Here, I was like, yes, I like to eat better.
Me too.
I'm with you.
Yes, yeah. But is a very nice. Is it considered French door? That where you go out.
Yes, yeah, where there's the two doors. Yes.
Very solid, very nice color, well blend in.
Yeah. Well, this is what we matched. These were already here.
Okay, the matching, got it.
Yeah, so we matched the same style over here. And you can see these are a little darker. Whoop. I hate when I do that. So sorry.
Slip of the mouse.
So these are a little darker just because they're, they've aged a little bit, which happens with natural wood. It just ages with time a little bit. These are
it's the same brand, but it's an aged.
Oh yeah, same material type, everything. Yep.
Got it.
Yep, they're just newer. So eventually, over time, they'll be a little darker too, like these.
Okay.
So yeah.
I sidetracked you, so we can.
Oh, no worries.
Oh no. We're here for you to show you what you want to see. So
no, I really appreciate it. You guys doing this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely different. We'd rather meet you in person and let you touch and feel, and definitely spaces and homes have an energy to them, and to really see, like when you see that before and after, you can imagine.
Yep.
Going from this small dark house into this beautiful place where it's easy to entertain and have your children and family all in the room and friends and be able to step out in the yard was a big lifestyle change. Definitely. And Ted was sharing earlier that they were actually looking at selling their house, but they loved where they lived. And now they have the custom home that fits their life right where they want to be.
I like the sunlight, you guys open up the windows that you can able to see, have like the natural sunlight that you don't need to.
Absolutely. Yeah, lots of natural light.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's critical to life in Seattle.
Help a lot.
Yes.
Craig, did we answer any of your questions, or is there anything we can help with?
I just set one about the upper
I see
cabinet.
it there. You liked the upper cabinets, how they don't have a valance to hide the lighting?
Actually, so Craig, they actually do have a valance. It's just this is the way we have the cabinets made. So it's what they call an integrated valance. So if you were to open the doors, you'd actually see the valance, but this is a much cleaner look, so you don't see that added piece of wood for sure, especially with the style cabinet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just something that I think most cabinet shops will do, just that most people don't know to ask for it because they don't know that it's an option, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's all that is they basically, and then what they've done on the sides where you see the side of the cabinets, they've just extended that side panel down further, right?
Interesting in this particular image too, Craig, you can kind of see over here by the pot filler,
right?
The way that looks right there. Yeah. Normally would have been sort of something we wouldn't to have shown in a photo, but now we see the value in that. So.
Where did I think I messed up and got out of where I wanted to be there.
So sorry. That's okay. Seslin, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Do you have any questions? I'm glad you like the before and after. It's definitely a shocker, isn't it, what it used to look like?
Yeah, sorry. I'm with 2 kids. That's why I'm being.
Oh, we get it.
We understand.
They're normal. We are whole.
Yeah, it looks great. I love. Yeah, it's definitely impressive when you look at the before pictures and you're like, oh yeah, it's come quite a long way. So nice project.
It's always kind of tricky to show, like, you know, it's like if we started with those images, we might lose you before we actually showed you where we got to. So it's always kind of a tricky thing to know how to show the before.
Yeah, it was great.
Are you guys have you been to any other virtual home tours yet? How's it going?
This is my first one, and honestly, I clicked by random, so it was. I don't know how they're set up. If probably my timing was perfect because I think I started at the same time that you guys started.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, no, they're not set up. They're very organic. So we're learning how to sort of figure it out too. And we want to make sure people come away with the answers and also just the information that's appropriate for them too. It's definitely a lot to keep repeating about. So we want to make sure that we don't forget anything or miss a detail. And, you know, even to like Craig's question, it's a great thing because I love that he mentioned that because Craig, it's one of those things that sort of bugs me. And one of my favorite things about when we go through any of the Schulte design projects is that there's some certain standards that we consider when we look at projects because it's the detail, because it's actually how you use the space and living in that space later, how those fine little recess and niche, some of these things really make the day-to-day life inside of the home so much better. So I really appreciated that question. Thank you. And it's also some of the things that we do all the time. So we sort of forget that those are things that are stand out when someone's going through a project too. So that's really helpful. Thank you. All right, when you think about green homes, is there anything that you guys are hoping to see or learn about? Or are you kind of just looking for ideas?
I'm just looking for looking at overall projects myself.
Yeah.
So I'm a remodeler as well. I've actually met you before, Todd, through Eric Jackson. So I just wanted to say hello.
Oh, cool.
Craig, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for the presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, these are
Craig,
amazing.
will you be on the tour next year?
My company?
Yes.
I don't know. That would be a good goal, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you for coming. Let us know if we can help you with anything.
How long have you been doing this tour?
The Green Home Tour?
Yeah.
This is the second time doing it, but I did it the first time quite a few years ago with a project that I quote unquote felt was green because it was super green with the clients. They did everything FFC certified framing lumber, you know, everything. They wanted everything to be as green as they could. So it was super green. They did this crazy thermal system for their thermal heat. So they basically were able to get a drilling machine in their backyard and drill these 260-foot deep holes, I think 2 or 3 of them. That's how you do it instead of a field to get the loops, as much loops as you need for the thermal. So it was a pretty interesting project for green, quote unquote green. So, and I've just always felt, I mean, like I just said in my presentation, I mean, quite frankly, all these materials are kind of standard now. So, you know, but it's just a great example of, you know, how it's just been integrated into kind of what we do now. It's not an option. So it just got me thinking a little differently about what green means. I don't have to have a thermal system installed to call it a green home, right? I mean, this is what everybody can do. And our clients, quite frankly, didn't necessarily ask for all these things to be green. They just were, right?
Yeah.
So that's, and I forget that. And, you know, being in the industry, it's just kind of a taken for granted, right? So.
It took a lot of extra effort 10 years ago.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Exactly.
Hi,
And now-
Marcia.
yeah. Hi, Marcia. Welcome. It was nice talking to you, Craig. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, you guys have a good day. Thank you.
You too. Take care.